Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Neil Haley Show. You can check me out on Twitter at TotalTutor, and we'll go to neilhaley.com, connect with all different social media. And Fridays TV, once a month, we end up recording such amazing interviews. And now I want to welcome back my co-host, Coach Karen Hall, WPL Hall of Famer, UNLV running rep, and also ESPN analyst. How are you, Coach? And you're bringing back memories of my basketball days. I just don't know what's going on. Every day I'm feeling like, wow, that's been a long time. So we have somebody that we have a history. We worked together involving Connie Hawkins. I played for his league and then also was a part of the draft process because of a good friend, Coach Corlew, that I've played for. I was probably 22 years old, so that's dating it as 43 now.
You look great, though.
Oh, Coach, you look great too. Okay, so but again, we have a great guest. So go ahead.
Well, Neil, it's always good to be back in the studio, and we do have someone like you brings back many memories for me. Bill Neal, the CEO of Achieving Greatness Inc., formerly Champion Enterprises. Yes. Bill, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me. It's great to be here, and it's important to note I'm a pit guy.
Let's
just put that on the table with all that running rebel conversation. Let's be clear about
the hell to pit or whatever. We'll get to that later.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to jump right into it with you because you have such a legacy here in Pittsburgh with not only just sports, but the leadership, the making a difference in the lives of everyone that you really have served. So can you talk about how sports began to play a role for you as you were growing up in the city?
I can, and actually, to a lot of people's surprise, I'm not from the city. I'm born and bred Penn Hills Indian. And,
I knew that. That's why I said city.
That's okay. That's okay. I'll take the intro any way I can get it. And you know, when I was coming up in the late '60s, you know, the old school way of thinking was, you know, work hard, play every sport, shovel the snow off the court in the winter and shoot hoops and you know, dig a hole in the ground and play golf. I mean, all that stuff. And that's how we grew up. And I always wanted to be a high school, college pro athlete. And I spent my whole life thinking about going to Penn State and playing for the Baltimore Colts. So every kid has that dream. But, you know, I'm fortunate and blessed to have been a Hall of Fame football player for Penn Hills High School. And I had a great career there in football and track, and went on to Slippery Rock and just had the greatest opportunity in the world at the Rock to continue my education, be an athlete. And when I came out of Slippery Rock, and it got started in the strangest way. My college roommate was a guy named Otis Lockhart. I'm a football player, and I was a field man on track, shot put, discus, javelin, all that stuff. But, you know, my heart was football. Well, my college roommate was a guy named Otis Lockhart from South Hills High School. And he was a great basketball player that had scholarship to a major college in the South, but transferred to Slippery Rock because he was in love, in essence, and just wanted to be home with his girl. And we were laughing and joking one night, and I was teasing him about, you know, basketball. You know, girls play basketball. How tough can it be? Now, remember, this is 1970.
Yeah, right.
And he's telling me, he says, well, if you think football is so much tougher, meet me in the gym tomorrow. And he proceeded to beat me 10-1, 10-2, 10-1, 10-0. And in that moment, I said, you know what? I'm never going to let anybody beat me like this again. And Otis Lockhart taught me how to play basketball.
Oh, wow.
And that's how my basketball love started. That's really the importance of the story. And I played every day from that moment on, along with football. So I'm pleased to say that I gotten to be decent enough that Coach Mel Hakinson, the basketball coach at Slippery Rock, saw me playing pickup ball one day and said, you know what, you ought to come out for the team. But I just didn't think there was any reality to that. But what happened was, when I left Slippery Rock, I was the program director at the Homewood YMCA. And the YMCA was, and Homewood was rebounding from the aftermath of Dr. King's assassination in the late 60s. And my director said, look, can you start a program as program director that can help unify the community? And as coincidentally, the legendary, the great Connie Hawkins was working out at our Y. We had just built a new gym there. And Connie was working out, Kenny Durrett, guy named Bill Graham, who's important because Bill Graham is one of the city's great players, is actually the guy that sat down with me and told me how to structure the league.
How about that?
I walked up to Connie. I said, Mr. Hawkins. He said, first of all, don't call me Mister. I said, can I name the league after you?
Right.
And he said, sure. He said, and jokingly, he said, as long as you don't ruin my name. Well, the joke to that, of course, was the book Foul tells you how Connie's name was misrepresented and an alleged scandal was proven to be not true. And police detectives out of New York who wanted him to shave points, and he said no, made up a story about him that got him thrown out of college. So the book Foul, Foul, tells that story. So that was his joke to me that I couldn't ruin his name. And from that moment on, Connie Hawkins never said another word to me about how to run the Connie Hawkins Summer Basketball League. Entrusted me, and we started the league in '75, and the rest is history. The greatest players in the history of this city,
True.
whoever played, including yourselves, played in the Connie Hawkins League. If you could play basketball, you played in the Hawkins League.
Absolutely.
And certainly the Dew Brown League at Fifth Avenue and the Center Avenue YMCA League, and there were other leagues, but because of Connie Hawkins, people came to the Connie Hawkins League because Connie was still playing. In '75, he had just gone on to play with the Lakers, and he was still playing. He was still taping up his fingers and still dunking on people. So it was just a great, and then we just had the Ricky Colemans and the Sam Clancy's and the Jeep Kellys and the Sonny Lewises and just the greats came to the league, and it just blew up.
Well, in all that, there's that underlying work ethic. So where did the underlying work ethic come? I mean, we already heard you talk about shoveling snow to play ball.
Right.
So that's a work ethic. Where did that come from?
Easy answer. My dad would say to me on Saturday morning at 6 a.m., he said, son, it's 6 o'clock, get up. I said, Dad, I don't have school today. He said, I didn't ask you what you had to do. It's 6 o'clock, get up. It's that, it came from that. It came from my parents. My dad was a no-nonsense, get it done. Shovel the snow, cut the grass, wash the car, do whatever I tell you to do because I'm your father and I know better than you. And I know you like to eat real good, so you'll just do what I ask you to do. And that's where it came from. And the discipline, that old school discipline. So we all, the push-ups, the sit-ups, the heels, the sprints, the want to do it to achieve, that has always been in me. And all the on the street that I grew up on, 15, 20 houses in Penn Hills, virtually every boy on that street was a high school and or college athlete. Just about every woman on that street was a college graduate. It's just that old school mentality, and so, I was instilled in me.
And so let's look at this also when you said running a league like that. You were a program director at the Homewood YMCA, so you didn't you had some experience, but not enough to run such a big league like this. So there you go in that process at a young age, handed this responsibility to not know this is going to be the summer league for years to come in Pittsburgh.
Well, you know where that came from, actually? I'm born and blessed. Sometimes, Michael, you can run as many hills as you want and do as many toe raises as you want. You won't jump as high as Michael Jordan. I was born with the ability to organize and lead. I was the Cub Scout leader. I was the Boy Scout leader. I was the football team captain. It's just always in me.
You had the leadership role.
And so that's where it came from. And in college, I ran programs. So my program direction operation process kind of began my second year in college of really doing things. But I was always that team leader, I'm proud to say. And I was generally right in my projections, and people tended to follow my lead. And I wasn't always the best athlete, and I wasn't always the smartest guy in the room, but I was always the guy willing to do whatever it took to get it done.
So leadership is about influence. So as it was developing in like that second year of college, the influence, were you able to see that, oh, wow, I'm able to make some changes and help people and influence people to move forward? Was that evident to you?
It wasn't, actually. And it's a slow process in acquiring that understanding of your strength, of your leadership strength, because it's not something that usually presents itself out the gate. It usually manifests itself after the achievement. And I remember, but here's really what the answer to your point is, that I've been blessed with having had great leadership around me and great friendship. Connie Hawkins, Franco Harris, Willie Stargell all entrusted their names to me to run the Franco Harris football camp, the Willie Stargell Awards Banquet, the Kenny Durrett All-Star Classic. they all entrusted their names to me. So the leadership, the relationships, the friendships, people like yourself, Coach Hall, that lent your time and energy to our camps and our clinics and playing and coaching in the league. The world needs to know, if they don't already know, this is the first and only woman to play in the Connie Hawkins League. This is the first and only woman, it's the second woman to coach behind Miss Ann Myrick, and then the first woman to win Connie Hawkins League title, and then back-to-back. All right,
wow.
All right, so I said it now. Do I get my $10 now?
No. Show's over.
So now I didn't understand. So she played in the Connie Hawkins
Played in the league as well as anybody.
And so this is meaning with men.
With men, with the best of the best.
Okay, so this is something I did not know about Coach
Well, she doesn't talk about herself.
No, she doesn't.
No.
She doesn't talk about herself.
Played well, and asked no quarter and gave none.
And that was the time when she was playing at UNLV, right?
Yeah.
Coming back in the summers.
Yes.
And so competing with and then winning the league too.
Back to back.
Who was your teams? Who were some of your teammates?
So Billy Varner, Darren Walls,
Okay.
Waynesburg, Andre Boyd.
Okay, Boyd
from
played
Robert
Morris.
Steve Vanderveer from Robert Morris.
Okay.
Great names.
Sam McGill. I'm not forget where Sam played. Derek Gordon also played at Peabody, and then he moved on to college. Just an array of talented.
And you were the point guard feeding the ball to everybody.
Well, those guys they played for me. Now, when I played,
I
was a point guard when
you were
I played.
coach, won 2 championships,
right?
But I
played first, so I was a point. So I actually I just remember. I'm having a name moment.
Earl Miller.
Earl Miller.
Yeah.
I remember
Earl the Pearl Miller.
And Earl wanted to be the point guard. I had to tell Earl to move over to the 2. I'm the point. But it was a really great opportunity. I grew up around boys and playing with boys, but to play in the Connie Hawkins men's summer basketball league, that was a tremendous
That was at
moment
when you were at UNLV, right?
And it wasn't the physicality that was an issue at all. It was her mental attitude. She stepped on the court to play basketball, and she was good enough and tenacious enough to get the job done. So it was no one made an issue of it. It was Karen Hall playing basketball. Exactly. But then we subsequently created the Jennifer Bruce women's division, so that then she moved over and helped there. But we had a women's division and a men's division.
Oh, yeah. So when did that women's division develop?
That came about 10 years after the league started. When we moved out of Homewood to East Hills, then we started a women's division, and that was just as competitive.
I played the one that was in Homewood, right? I think. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it was not the East Hills.
Yeah.
I think it was. I'm almost kind of. It's again. There's so many moments in my life, and I'm sure it's great you remember that stuff. But I'm sure there's certain other things that you need to get your memory refreshed. Like, oh, okay, that happened.
Well, do you remember that you played with and against Connie Hawkins, John Marshall, Norm Nixon of the L.A. Lakers championship team, Ron Carter of the Lakers, Craig Prosser. You played with Ricky Coleman, Dwight Clay, Jeep Kelly. You played with some of the greatest players in the history of this city.
Yeah.
I forgot who was on my team. So you have a great memory, Joe. So when we get back, I guess it'll be just like me with interviews. Once I start reminiscing who I've interviewed as celebrities. So we're Bill Neal. You're watching the Neil Haley Show, also simulcast on the Toll Education Network and all over the world. And we'll be back in just a moment.
I brought out a show on the radio about 5 or 6 years ago to try to share a lot of the information that I run across on a weekly basis with clients, and to share those experiences and the knowledge gained from other people's either mistakes or the correct decisions they've made and their successes, and to try to share that with the community so more people could benefit. So we came over and met Dave, and it was real easy. He said, there you go, are you ready? We're very lucky to have this and the resources over here, where it would be quite expensive to try to produce a show like this elsewhere. Bethel Park TV is offering it to all of us. I hope this grows a lot, and I hope a lot more people do take advantage of this. You're missing out on a marvelous opportunity if you don't. It's really a free gift for you to be able to share yourself and your experiences and what your value is with others at low to no risk. Anyone who's considering doing a show, come on out of your shell. Come on over here. Dave's very gentle, very nice. He'll help guide you through this. If you make mistakes, he'll edit it out and record it over, so don't worry about saying something wrong. Just come over and share what you have with others. Just Be yourself, come over here and let other people see who you are, why you're here, and who you're trying to help and what you're trying to say. It is that easy.
We're back to the Neil Haley Show with Coach Karen Hall and Bill Neal. And Bill, this is where you brought up all these names. So you're telling me the year I played against all those.
They were there.
They were there. So that's what made the league what it was for so many years. And who would you say, you talk about a lot of the talent that already were professional in college. What about kids coming up that are from Pittsburgh, that went play college ball and went on to the pros? Same name some of those.
Endless list.
Yeah.
As she just mentioned, Darren Walls, who's about to be honored in our upcoming program, all-time leading scorer at Waynesburg College. Billy Varner, who went on to Notre Dame to become a great player. He became a European player and was recognized as the Michael Jordan of his European team. You've got Myron Brown, who went on the Slippery Rock and was drafted in the second round by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Never happened before, probably won't happen again. Getting drafted out of a D2 school in the second round of the NBA draft, that's big. So there's, Sam Clancy, in my opinion, the most dominant physical player in Pitt University history, who was drafted, I believe, by the Phoenix Suns, but went on to have an unbelievable 15-year NFL career. Thank you very much. So I could name them until the cows come home.
So when you look at all these players, and the list is so deep, he's not, cutting into most of it. But talk about the character of these people. I mean, these are some really great athletes, but they're even better people. Yeah. So can you speak about those type of people that you were able to attract into your league that have now gone on and done some tremendous things in this world?
It's the Western Pennsylvania thing. It's the thing that people talk about and books have been written about. It's that Western Pennsylvania attitude, that hard work, Aliquippa, Clareton, City of Pittsburgh work ethic, mental toughness, and the need to achieve. That's where it all comes from. In the City of Pittsburgh, you're talking about Westinghouse High School produced Chuck Cooper, the first African American to play pro basketball. You're talking about Maurice Stokes out of Westinghouse High School, so famous they made a movie of him. Maurice Lucas is the only Pittsburgh City League basketball player to ever win an NBA title. That's an unbelievable statistic. And all the great players in the history of the city, only one guy has won an NBA title. That's Maurice Lucas. So when you look at the greats that have come out of this city and the impact they've made on the world, Ricky Coleman voted the greatest basketball playing guard in Western Pennsylvania history. Kenny Durrett voted the greatest player in Western Pennsylvania history. His team voted the second greatest team behind Dick DeVinzio's Ambridge team, which gets challenged back and forth on occasion. It's just an endless list of superior talent. But to your question, it's that when we came up, it was that work ethic, that attitude, that need to achieve, that sense of wanting to be like your big brother or like your cousin. Right. When I grew up in Penn Hills, everybody wanted to be Hubie Bryant. Hubie Bryant was the greatest Penn Hills athlete that we knew, and we all wanted to be like him. So we did what Hubie did. And I'm sure the same mentality existed in the city of Pittsburgh. And when you talk about City League now, you're talking about in one community, one project area community, Ricky Coleman, Jeep Kelly, and Maurice Lucas lived in the same building. Wow. So imagine that pickup game on Saturday morning. So, and Ricky Coleman told me at Jeep Kelly's funeral, he said, Jeep Kelly made Ricky Coleman because when we played one-on-one every morning in the summer, Jeep Kelly made Ricky Coleman.
How about Nathan Sonny Lewis? Talk about where he fit in and all that.
Nathan Sonny Lewis is a legend. He's deceased and gone but not forgotten. I listed him as the greatest leaper in City League history. His vertical was challenged Michael Jordan any day of the week, and that's no exaggeration. And my good friend Myron Brown wants me to put him ahead of Sonny. And of course, Myron Brown at 6'3" won back-to-back CBA slam dunk titles. But I gave it to Sonny nonetheless. But Sonny Lewis, just tenacious, out of Shenley High School, 71 state championship team. Went on to Pitt and then transferred to Point Park and had an NBA tryout weeks around the time that of his untimely demise. So just phenomenal guy.
Now, when you talked about entrusting you running things, not just the Connie Hawkins, but other things involving your business, saying, okay, we want you to run this tournament or we want you to run this event. What made you make that event planner to be able to make these events happen and trusting you? What leadership skills do you need? People watching say, I want to run a summer league, or I want to promote an event, or I want to get an event together and do it for somebody else. What skill set do you need?
A couple things come into play. I'm not one that easily takes orders from others. So that's got to be on the table, admittedly. I've got to be in charge.
Right.
Secondly, when you take that responsibility, you have to be accountable.
Yes.
And you have to produce. And if you say you're going to do X, then X better happen, or you'll pay the consequences. So I've always been that detailed, nth degree detailed person. It's just in me, but it's not. I'm not special. Everybody has that thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you put a gun to my head right now and ask me to work out a basic algebra equation, I couldn't do it. Just don't have it in my brain. You could work it out and ask me to repeat it, I couldn't do it. But if you wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, Bill, I want you to give a speech to Congress and the President of the United States,
you can do it.
I'll be ready in 10 minutes and won't need a note. It's just the blessings that we have.
And what do you think is more powerful? I think the communication and leadership is more powerful than what we're kind of training our kids today, just to be math and science and not looking at ultimately those communication skills, that ability in life. The more successful the people are, the people that can go have a conversation, meet people, connect with people, network with people. They're the ones that are successful that move on to not just a job, but an entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That's what makes an entrepreneur.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, there's the risk-taking, there's the aggression, there's the never say no, there's the no is not acceptable.
And that's how I am always
that's
as a green young entrepreneur.
Yeah. I mean, and look where you're at. I mean, it bears out its success. One of my closest friends, my brother, if you will, is Master Jaquay Bazemore. Owned 10 black belts in 10 different arts, 2-time Vietnam veteran, former world heavyweight kickboxing champion, was a good friend of mine, and Coach Hall knew him well. And he once broke 22 2-inch cinder blocks with his head. He once had a Jeep run over his body as an exhibition at the Connie Hawkins League game, home opener in East Hills. But I bring him up because he was that guy. No nonsense. Neil, let's get it done. No exception, no excuses. You know, I was about to say former Marine, but he would always remind me, once a Marine, always a Marine. And that's where it comes from. But all of my success, all of my good fortune, all of my achievements has been a result of other people. It's never been a solo
Surrounding
mission.
yourself with those right people.
Surrounding yourself with the right people. For young people, you got to make the right decisions. You have to be good to your person.
Yes.
You know, you can lie on the exterior, but your interior knows you're lying. And if you want to be successful in whatever your endeavors are, you've got to be committed. Be concerned, be compassionate, and be consistent to what you're doing, and success will soon follow. Everybody has failures. Hank Aaron, I believe, holds the strikeout record as well as the home run record. So, that's part of it. But you've got to be willing to go out there and do what it takes, and then be ready to be able to handle a strikeout.
So there's an event Sunday that will air after, the TV show will air after this, but there's an event Sunday that's very important to you. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you know, long story short, I was tapped on the shoulder a couple years ago by Coach Larry Anderson, one of our all-time great players out of South Hills High School, and a longtime basketball coach in the Western Pennsylvania area. And he coached at Pitt and Carnegie Mellon. And he just tapped me on the shoulder and said, we need to take a look at doing this. Believe it or not, the City League of Pittsburgh does not have a Hall of Fame enshrinement for its great athletes. And again, I'm in the Hall of Fame at Penn Hills, and other people and other.
Right.
You just think, and talking to my good friend B.B. Flannery, who's actually in 7 different halls of fame, and we just kind of sat down and talked about it, and didn't realize it didn't exist. Put it in motion, and the idea we initially started with was a very simple standard. You had to have gone to a City League school. You had to have played 2 out of 3 years. You had to be best of the best. You had to have strong moral character, and you have to be able to attend. And that's the standard we put forth. Opening year, we anticipated 100 people, 250 people showed up. Second year, we anticipated 300, 450 people showed up. This year, we expect 500 plus people. We were able to move the event into the Heinz History Center, where it rightfully belongs.
Yes.
And the Heinz History Center has been so amazing with us and welcoming us into the center. And now we've been able to unlock all these great athletes, not only the athletes, but the schools, the tradition of the City League, the uniforms, the players, the names. Ray Zeller's being inducted this year. Orrin Richburg was inducted in the first class, probably the greatest track athlete in City League history. We induct 25 of the greatest living each year, and we induct 25 of the greatest deceased athletes each year posthumously. And the response has been overwhelming, just unbelievable. And now we're able to create a space in the Heinz History Center for the history of the City League and all its great athletes, eventually moving those artifacts and things into the History Center.
So you have different categories for these athletes?
It's the Pittsburgh City League High School All Sports Hall of Fame induction. So any varsity sport in any of the past or existing City League high schools, male, female, if you're the best of the best, you're.
Who will be attending that we know the name, the notariable people going to be on Sunday?
Well, Ray Zeller's the great Oliver Notre Dame player. We've got Tamika Hunter, the great basketball player who played at Pitt and I believe out of Peabody. The names are running through my head because we're doing so many. But
you need to have those talking points.
Well, and Coach Hall reminds me, this year, for the first time, we're inducting a team. The 1976 Sam Clancy, Bill Clark, Warnie Macklin, Puffy Kennedy, Reggie Whitner, Fifth Avenue team is being inducted as a team, and that's a big, big deal. The 1976 state championship team was also the #1 ranked high school team in the nation that year. So big deal. So the families of the deceased members are coming out in record numbers, and it's just overwhelming to be able to give back to those families who remember their fallen heroes.
So best place to find information on you, Bill, and stuff, where can we go?
We're still active. We've retired the Connie Hawkins League after 40 years. This is my 42nd year of service. We still run the Armand Gilliam Hard Work Basketball Camp, and we've joined that with the name of Leroy Freeman, who was another great player that passed away. We still do our football camp, our golf outing, and our tennis clinics. So we've downsized our operation, but it's Achieving Greatness Incorporated now. I actually retired Champion Enterprises as a nonprofit, and I created a for-profit agency entitled Achieving Greatness Incorporated, advertising, marketing, promotion, special events company. And the number to reach me at is 412-628-4856 anytime.
All right.
Great.
Well, Bill, thanks for stopping by, and the time flies fast with you, Bill.
Thanks for having me.
We know that this is like old hat for you. Like we could talk about just who you met, who's who are Pittsburgh sports athletes, professional that you've met in your life, especially running Woolies.
We touched the surface.
Oh, we didn't touch the surface for part one, but you have to tell me come back on to tell me how the event went, and then also some of your other stories.
Well, and I will, and I won't take but another second to tell you that there's a man in the building, Coach Dillard, who's revered and one of the recognized most talented, most influential people in the city's history. He'll be one of our Coach Hall of Fame inductees next year. I can tell you that when I come back to talk to you, we can talk about how we brought Muhammad Ali to town and Dr. J. And
when are you writing a book on this?
It's just
when are you writing a book on all these stories?
It should have been done.
Never too late. Never too late.
It's like sitting down, having just talking to you all these stories. Absolutely.
I've been blessed.
All right. Well, thanks again.
Thank you, my friend. We'll see you again. You still playing?
Oh, no, I want to get back. I'm injured, but Coach will get me back. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching the Neil Haley Show. Take care, and we'll see you next week.